It takes courage to listen. During this session, we're going to explore what that means and how you can do it consistently. The world that we live in is a constant storm, and seems like sometimes we're the ship on that storm being tossed and turned in any which way as life unveils itself. We call this living in a VUCA world. Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And this becomes the new way of life. We're faced with all kinds of challenging situations, tough things to handle. Courage or fear? The ongoing choice. Let's look at what courage really means. It comes from the Latin word cor, which means heart. Bring your heart into the moment. Winston Churchill said, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. It's also what it takes to sit down and listen. My question to you is, what or who do you need to listen to today that requires your courage? I'm going to share with you a story that happened to me. I was a meter reader many years ago. After I got out of the Army, I needed a job so that I could go to night school, walking from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. throughout all the neighborhoods in the city. After the first day, I realized that I may need to leave the job. Not because of all the walking, because of dogs. Big dogs. One of my fears from childhood. And an old meter reader that was training me took me aside and said, look, there is a way to deal with this that you need to know if you're going to survive in this job. When the dog charges, look at the dog and walk toward him. Walk toward the barking dog. 9 times out of 10, that dog will retreat. The 10th time, the dog will bite you. The odds are stacked in your favor. He was right. In 2.5 years, I was bitten only one time, and that was, believe it or not, by a little Chihuahua. I'm going to share with you some things that I believe are necessary to be a courageous listener. First, we need to know what really matters most. What's important? Number 2, live your values every day. The unquestionable truths that guide your behavior. This is what you'll stand up for. Trust your gut. Know what you can and can't control. It's important. Be authentic. Be yourself. Don't be anybody else. And be vulnerable. When you make a mistake, admit it. Failure is nothing more than another word for learning, and learning comes in many different ways. Number 7 is walk toward that barking dog. And number 8, seer. Sense, interpret, evaluate, respond, and the asterisk is memory. It takes courage to deeply listen. And it's an inside-out process. What really matters most to you. In our next session, I'm going to share with you an example of a courageous listener.